Good morning, good evening, and welcome to World of Warships. My name is Robin, and today we will be sailing in the Soviet super destroyer Zorkiy. But first of all, thank you very much for tuning in the video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you will enjoy your time here. How do you like the new introduction, by the way? Differs from the regular ones for sure, right? But I think that we can get to the action sooner that way, especially for post-commentaries like this one. So, Zorkiy, basically a unique upgrade Khabarovsk with more HP, 10 kilometers, torpedoes. I mean, this ship is as fun to play as it is difficult to kill, with the combination of speed, 25mm deck and 50mm plating, repair party, very large health pool, you name it. We have obviously spec'd the ship as a full gunboat except for the basic firing training skill, and having spawned on the left flank of Northern Light, we are going to push out with Marceau and engage any targets we see here. Matchmaking has no carriers, a handful of destroyers, and your usual cruisers and battleships, with one submarine on each team. Having the Marceau with me is definitely going to boost my confidence to be as aggressive as I can be on this flank, so we are going to engage instantly on this spotted Stalingrad. The role of the Zorkiy, or any resilient gunboats, as I like to call them, is to try and attract the focus on itself at the beginning of the battle, spot any ships that are trying to return fire, and then start kiting. I am already in a position to run away, but I am also well in range to keep the Stalingrad spotted and under fire. This cruiser is making a mistake of pushing in that early, and I really want to punish her for that. We also have a Jean Bart on our left that I will have to keep an eye out on. And we also probably have a destroyer or two backing them up. But as of now, it is time to take some risks and see if we can force an engagement with said destroyers, because my IPF clearly indicates there is one ahead of us. Stalingrad repairs a single fire. That is very juicy, since this large cruiser does not benefit from the shorter fire duration other cruisers have, so we are definitely focusing that one still. Smoke is being laid down both next to the island and in front of Marceau. That makes me aware there is indeed two destroyers here, and even if right now I am using the Marceau as a distraction, I am still keeping an eye out for incoming shells. Double fire set on Stalingrad. We will let them burn for a while and switch our attention to the Jean Bart. Torpedoes in the water, we might be in range of that smoke screen, and if not, then the French battleship might just push into them. RNG is going to be on our side as we get a double fire on the Jean Bart, but our Marceau took a beating and is forced to disengage. I am okay with that, but this means that the focus will switch to me as soon as he goes dark. Considering the amount of shells going out of that smoke screen, that destroyer in question has to be a Kitakaze, but thankfully we are fast and agile enough to dodge the vast majority of her salvos. The Jean Bart actually did not repair that double fire, and we are about to clip him with a torpedo. His DCP definitely must be down, and we are going to be greedy by activating our alternative fire mode and make sure we secure that first frag. Since we are running Kuznetsov, this is going to give us one extra consumable for both repair party and engine boosts, which is actually considerable. Jean Bart goes down and we are waiting for our guns to reload. This will also allow us to reconcile and reset that engagement while closing up the distance towards Stalingrad again. Friendly cruiser Tulsa actually catches the Yamagiri in its radar. A very dangerous destroyer, and our guns are back online just in time to apply some chip damage. If we can damage that Japanese destroyer enough, it will definitely help us later if we are forced to chase it down, for example. But I get narrow-sighted and forget that Stalingrad is still up and fighting, and we take a bit of damage. Nothing bad, but we have to remember to maneuver once in a while. Unfortunately, our Tulsa is going to go down. Nothing I could have done to help, I'm afraid, not like we had any smokes to cover him up. But the focus is back on Stalingrad again. Yamagiri smoked up, which makes me think that Kitakaze will possibly get in there and start shooting again. So I am expecting just that with a stationary bait. And I was right. Incoming fire from both Kita and Azuma from downtown. Our engine boost is back online, and we'll use that to try and get away. Once again, Stalingrad is going to repair a single fire, but at this point, this is not exactly a position I want to remain in. Eventually, Kitakaze will start being accurate again, and the torpedo threat is also definitely present. After a few more salvos, we are going to send out our alternative fire bursts, drop torpedoes towards that smoke, and disengage. So far, this has been an extremely good succession of engagements. We've managed to trade almost 90,000 damage and took barely anything in return, getting a battleship off that flank, chipping at Yamagiri and crippling Stalingrad. This is exactly the sort of first 5-ish minutes you want out of a gunboat, but as you saw, this didn't come without sacrifices. We had to rely on Marceau for destruction and Tulsa as an offering. Though at this point, I don't think my services are longer needed on B. Gearing is coming around for the maintenance on this flank, and with Kurfurst and Zhao rather healthy still, I'm thinking on making my way back towards C. We don't have enough punch yet to push straight to A, definitely not with Yamagiri and Kitakaze still around. I just have a feeling that I should try to get back to the center of the map and see where my help is most needed, and with 45 knots of base speed, I have the luxury of repositioning myself extremely quickly. But I'm still unable to get a permafire on the Stalingrad. We are applying the damage, and eventually the Kurfürst is going to secure that kill. As our firing bloom shrinks, I am still spotted, and with 2 destroyers backing me up, I am willing to push just a bit more, and Yamagiri is going to catch us with her rapid fire, actually dealing a lot of damage. But that's a rather big mistake on her part, as she is now a smokeless, sitting duck for us to shoot straight back at. Our IPF is going to switch, revealing yet another smoke being let down and more fire pouring from Kitakaze. That's my cue to disengage again, but before that we will send one last parting gift towards Yamagiri, actually managing to secure that kill and allowing us to go dark, as the only ship left on that flank, besides Kitakaze, is the Azuma. So far, I have been using my torpedoes rather sporadically, but that's about all the use they truly get. Send them, wait for them to reload, send them again, and eventually you will get some hits. The main damage-dealing tools of Zorkiy are the guns, obviously. I am tempted to try and go deal with this Kitakaze. We have the gearing as backup, but the enemy submarine is going to be spotted sneaking itself towards the cap. I knew I should have went for the center sooner, and it seems I'm already late to contest, so with that out of the picture, I decided to stick around just a bit more to see if I can give our gearing a hand. Azuma is in range, and I'm going to send a few salvo out just to see if Kitakaze will engage again. As I don't see any return fire, I assume that she is out of her smoke, which might be a good thing. Unfortunately, it seems Gearing is not willing to use my destruction and close in the distance to try and spot her. As Azuma repairs a single fire, I switch to burst fire, let it rip, and leave the flank for good. Both teams are down 3 ships, and even if we have cap control, this is about to change very quickly. The right flank is basically done for. Our Yugumo is busy farming a Yamato instead of heading for the cap, but that's understandable given the Ragnar Sherman division she would have to face. I just want to make sure we maintain equilibrium in terms of points held. Our gearing seems to be heading for A. Granted, we still don't know where the Kitakaze is, and our Balao is definitely going down to the combined effort of Kurfurst and Buffalo. As I am closing in the gap, I preemptively switch to the alternate firing mode. I know the enemy submarine is surfaced, no other ways for him to capture the zone, and I'm going to deal as much damage as I can before he submerges again. This submarine is going to be an issue for us, but if we can scare him away and have him retreat north, we might be able to get C back. Worst thing is if he manages to get behind our line, as he'll have free roam towards B, the Zao, the Georgia, and the Kurfurst. Meanwhile, Gearing found the Kitakazi but was forced to run away, and our Marceau, on very low HP, is heading for the cap, so I will give him all the help I can possibly provide. Unfortunately, that plan gets dismissed rather quickly, as the enemy Buffalo makes its appearance and instantly activates its radar. Despite our late warning, Marceau is going to take, once again, the bulk of the attention, allowing us to turn away and make our escape towards Georgia. Torpedoes towards the gap, and some depth charges thrown in the process, with no hits, and I'm trying to piece out where that submarine must have gone. Marceau goes down as expected, but as we round the island, the enemy U-boat pops up again right in front of us. We have him dead to right this time, and I'll make all efforts to prevent his escape. One last few salvos and burst towards the Buffalo as we take cover, and I am turning straight back in. That submarine is really pushing his luck, and I'm tired of having to deal with him. We narrowly avoid Georgia as we try to pass across her bow, and our torpedoes are actually going to connect with Buffalo, getting rid of the heavy cruiser. As U-boat torpedoes aimed at Georgia pass straight below our ship, we throw out more depth charges, and this time the U-boat doesn't get away and offers us a double strike. Now I have to say that is the full display of what destroyers are asked to do in World Warships, and I honestly would have settled with this game if it ended right there, but our job is far from over. With the Buffalo and the submarine out of the picture, the sea cap is up for grabs, but so I thought, as the Kurfurst is pushing straight back in and will deny our attempt at capturing. So here I am, kiting again. We have no choice but to keep firing at this point, even if it means remaining under secondary fire. I am not too afraid of retaliating salvos from the German battleship, but its secondaries definitely will chip away at our health and inconveniently incapacitate our guns, engine and steering. On the other hand, we are going to set that Kurfurst on fire, enough to force his DCP as the Georgia starts pushing into brawling range. Our friendly Yugumo, still chasing the Yamato, is going to get caught by the Ragnar, meaning that she is basically done for. But at least I know I don't have to deal with that destroyer division just yet. They could have both, the Ragnar and Sherman, that is, already taken positions behind the Georgia and be a real annoyance to all of us. So I'm actually happy about that last distraction the Yugumo will provide. I managed to set away from the Kurfurst secondaries finally, and I can start turning back. We have a few more fires permanently raging on the German battleship, and it's only a matter of time before it goes down. We achieved Confederate, Witherer and High Caliber in the meantime, breaching the 200k damage. And with 2 repair party chances left, we are still in this fight. Kurfurst goes down courtesy of Georgia, and now I have to get into Charlie. Georgia may not contest it, but she'll never be able to secure it, as the Azuma will constantly reset her. Enemy Sherman briefly gets spotted going down the 8th line. That is a bait I really cannot take, even if the American destroyer was very low HP. Chasing him down now would remove us from any important engagement, but it was a very difficult dilemma to take, as I had to fight my greed to secure my Kraken. We'll only settle for a torpedo salvo towards his last known position and head towards C instead. I am trying to get our gearing to push towards A. It may take him a few minutes to get there, but with the enemy having over 800 points, we need these cap or we'll lose. Our friendly Zhao is actually fully aware of this, and she is going to start pushing straight to it. Though my RPF is going to give me great information. As it was previously locked on Sherman, it is now going to switch to Kitakazi, giving us a good idea of where she currently is. She is also the culprit of spotting Georgia, and I'm going to try and use the island to remain hidden while I'll help with the cap. Our team is really spread out right now, and I'm not entirely sure what to do next. Help the Zhao at A, try to speed towards D, all the while struggling to get the cap with Georgia being reset all the time. Yugumo, sandwiched between two battleships, eventually gets caught by the Ragnar. But there is nothing we can do about this. At least we now know where the Pan-European destroyer is. We are briefly spotted by Kitakazi. Thankfully, she does not reset us at the last second, but our position is compromised and she will expect us to come after her. But not everything is going poorly right now. Even if we'll lose Yugumo shortly, our gearing actually catches and finishes off the Sherman, our Zhao enters the cap, and we finally flip C back to our advantage. And it is now time for us to hunt. We know Kitakazi cannot be far. Our RPF is locked on her, and we definitely are the faster ship. I am just concerned about torpedoes, but knowing the firing angles of Kitakazi by heart, I don't think she can risk a spread without allowing me to close the distance extremely fast. I have to be careful about Azuma, but at this range I should be able to dodge about anything she can throw at me. We also have the Zhao as a backup, so this Kitakazi is in real trouble. Yamato gets spotted, and the moment I start firing, Kitakazi is caught. At this point, I'm not messing around. The moment our guns are trained, it is burst fire time, and with the help of the Zhao, we secure our Kraken and get rid of the Japanese gunboat before she can be any more of a nuisance. We are going to go on cooldown again, but it's worth it. We can now spot Yamato in the process of turning away. Things are looking much better now. Even if the enemy team has the point advantage, this should be quickly countered by our returned domination of the capture zones, as long as we don't lose any more ships, that is. I am considering heading for D, but I doubt my consignment will allow me to sneak past Ohio, so I am going to re-engage Yamato as soon as my guns are back online to try and focus the enemy fire on me instead of Georgia, and well, to also try to finish off Yamato. With Ohio pushing back, we have a solution for our torpedoes. It seems gearing will head towards D instead, and even if I could go dark and let the point ticks in our favor, I really want to prevent our Georgia from going down, as this would give the enemy team a dangerous point progress towards 1000. But that's exactly what happens anyway. We are forced to secure one more kill. Yamato is definitely the #1 target, even though Ohio is the biggest threat remaining. Yamato having repaired our fire, we are going to maintain our salvos until we set a permanent one, which we know will seal its fate, and then switch to the Ohio. But we don't have time for that, as the enemy Ragnar opens up on us. That is a dangerous opponent, and as we narrowly avoid the Ohio HE return salvos, we are going to engage on the Pan-European destroyer. The only thing that is going to work in our favor for this destroyer duel is the fact that Ragnar is extremely accurate, meaning that every salvo he tries to aim at our maneuvering ship will land exactly where he pointed, and that is actually going to make him miss a lot of shells. On the other hand, we are really hammering him back, and we're even going to catch the Ohio with a torpedo. At this point, I am just trying to survive. Yes, I could go dark, but I have definitely enough HP to sustain this firefight, and I'm just trying to get this Ohio burning again. For the first time in almost 8 minutes, our team has earned the point advantage again, with the Zhao securing the kill on the Yamato, and the gearing flipping the decap. 45 seconds left on the timer. We know for sure that the enemy team is not coming back from this anymore. And with a last burst fire, sporadically aimed at Ohio for a fire, then at the Ragnar for damage, we take some cover and let the points tick. The gearing, smoked up in the cap, is going to harass and finish off the US battleship, sealing the deal for this game on Northern Light with a victory. 287,000 points of damage dealt, 730,000 credits gained, and almost 20,000 XP earned. We achieved Witherer, Confederate, Double Strike, Dreadnought, Kraken Unleashed, First Blood, and High Caliber out of 621 shells, 4 torpedoes, a whooping 19 fires, 3 floodings, and 3 depth charges hits, capturing 1 zone and sinking 5 ships in the process. A very happy 3400 base XP, actually doubling any other XP on this scoreboard, and for as much crap as I gave our gearing, he actually turned out alright and pulled a lot of weight, along with our Georgia. In total, we have dealt a serious blow to the enemy team's destroyers, battleships and cruisers present on the left flank, dealt with the submarine, and with 2.3 million potential damage and almost twice our HP tanked, we still had 8k HP and a heal to work with, even without activating Kuznetsov. That is saying a whole lot about how survivable this destroyer can be. And I hope that this game was a good example on how Zorkiy can be commanded. That is all I have for you today, and I hope it was enough. As always, there will be more content to come about World of Warships, so until next time, you have a good one, and you take it easy.